Personally, here's where I think they did do a very good job, and that was with Kelsey Mitchell, who's an unrestricted free agent, because Kelsey Mitchell had a hell of a season this season. And I don't think she got the credit that she deserved. Remember when Sheryl Swoopes claimed she had the inside scoop on the Fever's locker room drama? Well, guess what? Kelsey Mitchell just blew that theory out of the water with a single signature. She didn't just re-sign with Indiana. She shut down every wild rumor Swoopes tried to spread. What's up, everybody? Kelsey Mitchell here, and I'm a Fever girl again, so to my fans, to the basketball world, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be back. It needs to be good to me, and hopefully I can pour in and give the same. So here's to being a Fever girl. But here's where it gets juicy. Mitchell didn't stop at signing. She's got some choice words that are about to make Swoopes eat crow. You won't believe what Kelsey has to say that's putting Swoopes in her place as she defends Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and why she's proud to call Indy her second home. Stick around because this story's about to get real interesting. Are you ready? Let's go. You know what's worse than a pot stirrer? A supposed legend and Hall of Famer doing it. Let's talk about Sheryl Swoopes and her so-called insider info on the Fever. This woman's been spinning tales faster than a basketball on her finger, and it's time we called her out. Picture this: Swoopes, sitting on her high horse, drops a bombshell on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. She claims there's a lot of other things going on with the Fever. According to her, players are itching to bail, saying this ain't where I want to be. Really, Sheryl? Because from where we're standing, the Fever just had their best season in years. What kind of things do you feel I'm not in the locker room? Okay, I'm talking about more social media. It's a turn, right? It's really a turn of the tides. Well, here's my point. The beginning of the year, right? Everybody saw it, but wait. There's more. Swoopes didn't stop at trashing the team culture. She went after Caitlin Clark like a hungry defender on a loose ball. Remember when she tried to diminish Clark's NCAA scoring record? Swoopes claimed Clark was in her 5th year, a 25-year-old playing against teenagers. Newsflash: Sheryl Clark was in her 4th year, and last time I checked, she just celebrated her 23rd birthday. And don't even get me started on Swoopes' prediction about Clark's WNBA struggles. How'd that work out for you? Sheryl Clark just became the first rookie in almost 2 decades to make the All-WNBA first team, but I guess breaking 62 records in your rookie season is what Swoopes calls struggling. 3 WNBA MVPs in your career. Would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself? No, I can't, bro. Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is dominant. Now you might be thinking maybe Swoopes has a point about the Fever's locker room. After all, she's Sheryl Swoopes, right? One would assume as a WNBA veteran and media reporter she's have connections, right? Wrong, because guess what just happened? Kelsey Mitchell, the very player Swoopes claimed was being mistreated, just re-signed with the Fever. That's right. The same Kelsey Mitchell who Swoopes said didn't get the credit she deserved. You know what's funny? While Swoopes was busy playing armchair GM, the actual Fever management was singing a different tune. Amber Cox, the team's president, couldn't stop praising Clark and Mitchell. Obviously, as we get into free agency, the #1 priority for us is re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. I think that backcourt was about as lethal as we've seen in the WNBA, and I'm talking maybe in history, in the second half of the season last year. And Stephanie White, she's been gushing about Mitchell's importance to the team's future. So what's really going on here? Is Swoopes just out of touch, or is there something else at play? Because from where we're sitting, it looks like she's trying to stir up drama where there isn't any, and you know what? The Fever aren't having it. We wouldn't be where we are today without Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, she's clearly a very foundational piece. She's got 7 years of being in and out of this building. She went through a lot, but here's where it gets really interesting. What did Kelsey Mitchell actually say that's putting Swoopes in her place, and why is she so happy to be back with the Fever? We're about to dive into that in a bit. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. Let's first talk about sour grapes, shall we? Because that's exactly what Sheryl Swoopes is serving up, and it's not a good look. Remember when Caitlin Clark won Times Athlete of the Year? It was a massive moment for women's basketball. First time ever a WNBA player snagged that title. You'd think everyone in the basketball world would be celebrating, right? Well, not Swoopes. Sheryl, start with you. What's your reaction to Caitlin Clark winning Time Magazine Athlete of the Year? I don't think I'm surprised. I'm curious to know who the other candidates were. Instead of popping champagne, Swoopes decided to play party pooper on Gil's Arena. She starts questioning the award criteria like she's some kind of investigative journalist. Is it really just about what you do on the court? She asks. Come on Sheryl, we all know it's not just about buckets and assists. While Clark was an MVP candidate in the WNBA last year, it's also about impact, influence, and pushing the sport forward. And Clark, she's doing all of that, and then some, especially after her back-to-back historic NCAA senior season at Iowa and her record-breaking freshman season at Indiana. The fact that that's the very first WNBA player to ever win Time Magazine Athlete of the Year is pretty special. And my question is, like the criteria, is it based off of her performance on the court, but yeah, she had a great year? Or is it more about the impact that she had on the game this season? But wait, it gets better. Swoopes then suggests that A'ja Wilson should have been nominated instead. Now don't get me wrong. Wilson is great on the court, but this isn't about pitting one player against another. It's about recognizing a groundbreaking moment for women's basketball as a whole. Swoopes missed the forest for the trees, and it's honestly kind of embarrassing who put A'ja Wilson in there. That was just basketball. Well, so that's what I'm saying. Was it just the performance on the court, or it's global? I think it's everything, yeah. It's everything. You want to know what real leadership looks like? Look no further than Amber Cox, the Indiana Fever's GM. When asked about Clark's time win, Cox didn't hesitate. She called it a massive deal for women's basketball. No ifs, ands, or buts, just pure, unadulterated support for a player who's changing the game. I think Caitlin Clark deserves that award. What Caitlin Clark did, because so many eyeballs were on her, was she is a huge multiplier effect of that. And let's talk about that change for a second. You know how some people say women's basketball doesn't draw crowds? Well, Clark just blew that argument out of the water with analysts not just saying that Clark moves the needle, but that she is the needle. No, a lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness. But here's where it gets really interesting. While Swoopes is busy throwing shade, the Fever organization is basking in the sunlight. Thank you.